I'd like to talk about a time when I saw a group of kids flying kites in the sky, which turned out to be quite a memorable experience for me. This happened about 6 months ago when I went back to my hometown to visit my grandparents. They live in a small village surrounded by rice fields and open spaces. One afternoon, after having tea with my grandparents, I decided to take a walk to get some fresh air. The weather that day was absolutely perfect. There were clear blue skies, a gentle breeze, and the sun was just beginning to set. As I walked past a large, grassy field near the edge of the village, I spotted a group of local kids running around, flying kites. Their kites were incredibly colourful. Some were shaped like butterflies, others like dragons, and a few were just simple diamond shapes. It was such a lively scene. The kites were soaring high up in the sky, and then sometimes swooping down suddenly before climbing back up again. I ended up standing there for a good 30 to 40 minutes, completely absorbed in watching them. At one point, one of the kites got tangled with another, and the kids all burst into laughter as they tried to fix the mess. It was such a wholesome moment. Honestly, watching them brought back a wave of nostalgia for me. When I was a kid, I used to do the exact same thing with my cousins in that very field. We would spend hours trying to get our kites to fly higher than everyone else's, and we'd always go home with muddy feet and huge smiles on our faces. Seeing those kids reminded me how simple things, like flying a kite, can bring so much joy. It also made me reflect a bit on how, as we grow older, we sometimes forget to slow down and enjoy these small, beautiful moments. Why do some people like to watch stars at night? Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, stargazing is incredibly relaxing. After a long, hectic day, lying on your back and looking up at a sky full of stars can really help clear your mind. It's almost like a form of meditation. Besides that, I think for many people, it sparks a sense of wonder or curiosity. They might start thinking about how vast the universe is, or whether there's life out there on other planets. Also, watching stars is often seen as romantic. Couples sometimes go on dates where they just sit and look at the night sky together, maybe trying to spot shooting stars and make wishes. So overall, it's a mix of relaxation, curiosity, and sometimes even love that draws people to watch stars. What are the differences between things people see in the sky in the daytime and at night? Well, the most obvious difference is the light. During the day, the sky is usually bright blue and dominated by the sun, along with white fluffy clouds. You might also see birds flying or airplanes leaving trails behind them. At night, though, the sky turns dark and becomes a canvas for stars, the moon, and occasionally planets that are visible to the naked eye. Another difference is the atmosphere or feeling it creates. Daytime skies tend to make people feel active and energetic, while nighttime skies often give off a peaceful, almost mysterious vibe. So it's not just what you see, but also how it makes you feel that changes. What do people usually see in the sky in the daytime? Typically, people see the sun shining, different kinds of clouds drifting by, and sometimes birds gliding or flocks migrating. On certain days, you might even spot hot air balloons or paragliders, especially if you live near tourist areas. If you're lucky, you might catch a rainbow after a brief rain shower. Also, people often see jet planes flying high up, leaving long white contrails that slowly fade. So there's quite a lot happening in the sky even during the day, though we often take it for granted. Do many people pay attention to the shapes of stars? Honestly, I'd say not really. Most people just look up and think the stars are beautiful without trying to figure out any specific patterns. Only those who are really into astronomy, or maybe some curious kids, might try to connect the dots and imagine shapes in the sky. For the average person, It's more about enjoying the peaceful, magical feeling of a starry night rather than analyzing how the stars are arranged. When would people watch the sky? People watch the sky at different times depending on what they're looking for. In the morning, some might wake up early to catch a sunrise, especially if they're on holiday by the beach or in the mountains. In the evening, many people enjoy sunsets. It's actually a pretty common thing for friends or couples to do together. At night, people might stargaze or try to spot shooting stars during meteor showers. Besides that, people often glance at the sky simply to check the weather, like looking for dark clouds that might signal rain or clear skies that promise a sunny day. Would people be willing to get up early to watch and enjoy the sunrise? I think it depends on the situation. If someone's on vacation or in a beautiful location, like a beach resort or up in the mountains, they definitely make the effort to get up early and watch the sunrise. It feels like a special, peaceful moment, almost like you're witnessing the start of a new day firsthand. On the other hand, if it's just a regular work day, most people would probably rather stay in bed. Personally, I'd only wake up that early if I knew it was going to be worth it, like on a trip or a hike. But once you see the sun slowly rising and painting the sky with colours, it usually feels totally worth losing a bit of sleep.